A whisper of despair drifted through the treetops one morning, settling on the weary heart of a raven perched on a gnarled branch. He tilted his sleek ebony head upward, heavy tears slipping from his beady eyes, each drop a testament to the sorrow he could no longer suppress. Life had grown unbearably bleak in his mind. He believed the world held no place for him, no hand to offer kindness, no voice to speak his name with warmth. His solitude felt like a prison, and he longed for an end to his pain. Beneath the same ancient oak, a monk sat in tranquil meditation, breathing in the gentle rhythm of the forest. A single teardrop fell from the raven's cheek and landed softly upon the monk's own. The monk opened his eyes slowly, his gaze calm and inviting, as he looked up to find the source of that sorrow. "Tell me, friend," he asked in a voice as smooth as river stones, "what burden weighs so heavily on your spirit?" The raven's chest heaved as he poured out his anguish. "I am neither loved nor welcome," he croaked, his tone trembling. "Every creature drives me away. My feathers, my voice, my very presence bring only disdain. Perhaps death would offer more peace than this endless misery." The monk's face softened. "True contentment," he murmured, "is found not in changing who we are, but in embracing it fully." He paused as if weighing his next words. "Yet I sense a longing within you to become something else. Speak your desire, and I will grant it with my mantra." Hope blossomed in the raven's eyes, a fragile spark after long darkness. "Then make me a swan," he pleaded. "Let me glide upon the water, admired for my beauty, free from scorn." The monk nodded and instructed the raven to seek out a swan before transformation. "Ask him if he truly delights in the life you envy," he said. "Return with his answer, and then you shall know whether to proceed." With newfound purpose, the raven took flight across meadows and streams until he discovered a swan draped in alabaster grace upon a placid pond. He landed beside the water's edge and bowed. "You are a vision of elegance," he began, marveling at the swan's plumage. "Surely you must be the happiest of all birds, adored wherever you roam." The swan lowered his head, sadness clouding his luminous eyes. "I appreciate your words, friend, yet my heart is restless. All my feathers are white, as empty as fresh snow. I long for the vibrant hues of the flowers blooming beyond this pond. White is no color. It feels hollow." He sighed. "I imagine the parrot must be the most joyful creature, with his dazzling array of reds and greens and golds." The raven took flight once more, tracing the wind until he found a parrot perched on a sunlit branch. The bird's radiant feathers glowed like stained glass in the morning light. "Your colors outshine the rainbow," marveled the raven. "Surely no soul on earth is as happy as you." Yet the parrot's eyes dimmed with a familiar sorrow. "I wish that were so," he admitted softly. "People covet my beauty, trapping me within cages for their entertainment. Every day I fear the bars will close in on me forever. If only I could find freedom like the peacock, proud and unbound." Compassion stirred in the raven's breast as he sought out the peacock. His journey led him to a bustling zoo where a lake of onlookers circled around the proud bird's enclosure. Their admiration was palpable as they snapped photographs and whispered praises. When the crowd dispersed, the raven approached and offered his condolence. "You are the epitome of beauty," he said gently, "yet I feel you are not content. Why does sorrow linger in your eyes?" The peacock lowered his crest, revealing muscles sore from the weight of longing. "My feathers draw wonder and envy," he confessed, "but behind these splendid plumes lies a price. I am confined here, unable to wander as I please. Strangers pluck my feathers to adorn their halls and hats, causing me pain. In truth, I envy the raven's freedom, unfettered flight, no cage to confine him." The raven paused, the world tilting as realization dawned. "You speak of freedom," he echoed, his heart lightening for the first time in ages. "I once had but sorrow, wishing to be someone else. Yet here I stand, free to soar, to choose my path, to taste the wind upon my wings." He unfurled his wings wide, and with a joyous caw, he lifted into the sky. For the first time, the wind felt like a friend rather than an adversary, and the horizon stretched out with promise rather than pain. He returned at last to the monk, landing gently upon the same worn route where he had first wept. "I wish no change," he declared, his voice bright with wonder. "I would not trade this life for any other." The monk smiled and bowed his head, his eyes reflecting pride. "True happiness," he said, "springs from the heart that stops comparing itself to others and begins to cherish what it already possesses." In the stillness that followed, the raven looked around at the whispering leaves and the sun-dappled ground. Each blade of grass, each rustling branch felt like a blessing he had once overlooked. A wave of gratitude swept through him, filling the place where sadness had dwelt. Outside our own lives, we too can fall into the trap of comparison. We glance at the person with a fatter bank account, the neighbor who drives the flashiest car, the friend whose career seems to ascend without pause, and think our own journey must pale beside theirs. We forget that each of us carries burdens unseen, worries that gnaw at our peace, insecurities that steal our joy, responsibilities that chain our time. Perhaps the successful entrepreneur wrestles with sleepless nights, afraid the tide of fortune will recede. Maybe the social media star, adored by millions, longs for a moment of true connection beyond the screen. The family who seems to have it all may mask the quiet sorrow of loss or the tension of relationships strained by demands we cannot fathom. Just as the raven discovered that each bird he envied rued its own crown, we must recognize that the grass we admire from afar can conceal weeds beneath. If we measure our worth by the brightness of another's feathers, we will never feel our own wings are enough. The key lies in turning our eyes inward, in noticing the shelter of friends who stand by us, the talents that make us unique, the simple pleasures that paint our days with color. When the raven embraced his ebony feathers as a symbol of freedom, he found delight in flight itself. When we embrace who we are, our strengths, our flaws, our stories, we unlock a freedom far vaster than any cage's key. Gratitude becomes our song, and joy becomes the wind beneath our wings. So pause a moment and look around. Feel the breath in your lungs and the pulse in your veins. Recall a kindness you offered or received, a memory that still warms your chest. Let these be the colors you wear with pride, not borrowed from another's plumes, but splashed by your own spirit's brush. In that quiet acceptance, you will find the happiest soul in all the world. One who knows that true contentment blooms not from changing into someone else, but from flourishing exactly as you are.